In 2017, Fosi started creating its hi-fi equipment. Its name is made of its 4 core principles: foresight, openness, sincerity and innovation. Now back then I made a video about one of the earlier Fosis around, the Duck Q5. Now I wasn't too thrilled about it since it felt too generic and similar to other products I found online. But then came the K5 Pro, the first Fosi duck to have a mic input, making it a very interesting thing for gamers, and I liked it a lot. You could hear Fosi has made an effort to live up to its name. Now since then I also reviewed the V3 amplifier, which is a compact amplifier that I still use to this very day. The V3 was again living up to its Fosi name. And now Fosi sent me this, the K7. Will this live up to its Fosi name again? Now, as always, I did receive this product for free, but unlike what Nvidia wants nowadays, I'm not obliged to say anything. Also, no money has exchanged hands, so I can tell you exactly what I think. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Not too long ago, Fosi reached out to the audio community asking what we really wanted in a gaming deck. Fortunately, I was one of those enthusiasts who got to share their thoughts, and I didn't hold back. Here's what I asked for: a gaming deck that just doesn't do gaming but delivers true hi-fi performance too. On the gaming side, I wanted 2 dedicated knobs, one for overall volume and one for balancing game audio with something like Discord. Simple, intuitive controls. I also asked for a small display so I can see instantly what settings I'm using without alt-tabbing into difficult driver interfaces. For the hi-fi side, I wanted more than just the standard headphone output and the mic input. I asked for a balanced output, because if we're talking serious audio, in my book that's a must. And when it comes to components, I also made it clear: no more of those bare bones circuit boards with single generic codecs like the things we've seen from Creative. No, I wanted quality parts, real engineering and attention to detail. Oh, and one last thing, give me a power button. I just can't stand the thing having to be unplugged just to turn it off. And then Fosi came with the K7. Now I could end this video right now with saying that all boxes are ticked, done. Okay, no, seriously, everything I ever wanted is in the K7, or at least that was my very first impression. But let's dive a bit deeper into the world of the Fosi K7. From the outside, the K7 makes a very strong first impression. It feels solid and has a reassuring weight to it. And unlike what Creative sometimes does, adding a metallic block just to give it the illusion of substance, the K7 feels substantial for the right reason. It's packed with real functional components. Up front you got 2 large smooth turning volume knobs, 5 buttons for various functions, a mic input and both a 3.5mm headphone jack and a balanced output. Around the back it's just as feature rich. Dual RCA outputs, a port for the Bluetooth antenna, coaxial and SPDIF inputs, a USB-C port and a jack for an external power supply. And that last one is important. USB alone just doesn't cut it when it comes to delivering constant power to a high-performance device like this. The volume knobs themselves feel premium and operate beautifully. I initially assumed that the right knob would let me balance between the game audio with Discord, but it turns out that it's just the mic volume, and that's it. A bit unexpected, but still useful. All in all, the K7 is a well-rounded, thoughtfully designed package. Getting inside the K7 isn't exactly straightforward. I didn't want to risk damaging anything, but a bit of patience and some careful maneuvering, I managed to sneak in my camera without breaking a thing. Thankfully, Fosi also provides a helpful component diagram on their website, so we can still get a clear picture of what's going on under the hood. First up, it's the XMOS XU208. Yes, the same chip found in the highly respected Burson Audio Playmate 2 and 3 and the EVGA NU. Now that alone speaks volumes. Technically it's a microcontroller, but it handles DSP tasks so well that it's often considered one of the best in its class. Next up is the AK4493 SEQ from AKM. A high-performance 32 bits 2-channel digital to analog converter that supports up to 786 kHz PCM and DSD 512. Now let's focus a bit on the 32 bits and 768 kHz part for a moment. Most standard audio, like what you get from maybe CDs, is 16 bits and 44.1 kHz. So 32 bits and 768 kHz is a massive leap in both the resolution and sampling rate. What does that mean in practice? You get incredibly detailed sound, with a bit more headroom, lower distortion and a much more accurate representation of the original recording. Now these kinds of specs you'd expect to find in a dedicated hi-fi deck, not something bundled into a simple gaming-focused device. Now there's one downside worth mentioning. When you use the K7 in gaming mode, so your mic works, the audio signal gets downgraded to 16 bits and 48 kHz, not exactly audiophile grade. Why? Well, because the device switches back to USB Audio Class 1.0 or UAC1. The older standard is limited to 16 bits and 48 kHz. The reason for this fallback is console compatibility. PlayStation 4, UAC1. PlayStation 5, still UAC1. Xbox consoles, now they don't support UAC at all. And this is why manufacturers have to release separate models for the Xbox and the PlayStation. It's a frustrating limitation, mostly driven by greed from Microsoft's side. Even the Nintendo Switch uses UAC1. The new Switch 2 reportedly supports UAC2, but results are mixed and are hit and miss. On the bright side, if you're on PC, Android, Linux or the Steam Deck, congrats, you're in the clear. These platforms support UAC2 and even UAC3, so you can take full advantage of the K7's high-res capabilities. PC Master Race, anyone? Now let's talk about Bluetooth, specifically the Qualcomm QCC3031. Now according to Qualcomm, this is an ultra low power entry-level Bluetooth audio system on a chip. It's not exactly cutting edge and it's not recommended for new designs anymore, but it's not ancient either. It does support Bluetooth 5.1. So why did Fosi go with the 3031 instead of the, say, 3021? Simple. The 3031 supports aptX HD, while the 21 doesn't. Now, that's a solid win for audio quality. Unfortunately, there is no support for LDAC, which is a bit of a letdown. While aptX HD delivers very good sound, LDAC has become the go-to standard for hi-fi audio Bluetooth. It offers higher bitrates compared to aptX HD. Oh, and one more thing about Bluetooth, and this is something I really wish the K7 had. I would have loved for a way to connect it to my gaming headset. At this moment, this is the Corsair Virtuoso XT via Bluetooth. Right now, it uses a basic USB dongle, which doesn't exactly deliver the best audio quality. Imagine how awesome it would be to pair directly to the K7. But here's the catch. The K7 only works as a Bluetooth receiver. That means that it can send audio to the speakers or headphones, but it can't transmit it back to the headset. And that's kind of necessary when you're gaming with a microphone. And I get why Fosi made this choice. It's all about latency. In Bluetooth audio, you usually have to choose high quality audio with high latency or low latency with lower quality. And for gamers, latency is a deal breaker. Still, I can't help thinking, what if the K7 supported an LDAC for high listening sessions and aptX low latency for gamers? That would be the best of both worlds. Maybe something to consider for the K8 Fosi? Inside the Fosi K7 you'll also find two key amplifier chips working together, the OPA 1612 and the TPA 6120. Now each plays a distinct role in the audio signal chain. The OPA 1612 is a high-performance op-amp with bipolar inputs, known for its ultra-low noise and excellent linearity. It's typically used in the preamp stage, where it buffers and conditions the incoming audio signal with precision and minimal distortion. Once the signal is cleanly amplified, it's handed over to the TPA 6120, a powerful headphone amplifier designed to drive low impedance headphones with high current and low distortion. It ensures that the final output is strong, dynamic and crystal clear. Now, by combining these chips, the K7 achieves accuracy and power, delivering transparent sound signature with enough muscle to handle demanding headphones. And one last thing. Another thing. Something you won't find on a spec sheet or in most reviews. There's also a Cirrus Logic WM8940 on board. Now, this is a low-power mono codec capable of 16 bits and 48 kHz, and it seems to be tied to the mic input. So to sum up, the K7 is a bit of a hybrid. On the one hand, it's a hi-fi digital to analog converter with genuinely impressive components, putting it on par with some of the best audio gear out there. And on the other hand, it's clearly designed with gamers in mind, especially those who play co-op and rely on voice chat. It bridges both worlds, high fidelity audio and practical gaming features. These components should make the K7 the best of both worlds. But what do those two worlds look like? Is it like Burson Audio Hi-Fi Epic? And what about its predecessor, the K5 Pro? And what about the gaming opposition? The GC7 by Creative, also with two knobs, its natural competitor. Now let's go briefly over them one by one. The Burson Audio Playmate 3. Now if you're a regular on my channel, you know that I'm in love with Burson Audio. The build quality is beyond anything that you could imagine. The amount of detail on the Playmate 2 and 3 is just awesome. It has some downsides, and the biggest is its price. At a starting price of €482, it's more than twice as expensive as the K7. And when you get it with all the bells and whistles, it's 4 times as expensive. But I still recommend this as a great investment and something that makes you very happy for a very long time. It's like a great wine of a great vintage that needs to be sipped to make it stand out. Then you have the K5 Pro, which doesn't have quality components as the K7 has, but its main focus is gamers. It's in the name, right? K5 Pro Mini Stereo Gaming Deck. The K7 doesn't look anything like the K5 Pro, and I couldn't find a K7, therefore the K7 must be its successor? And what's the difference? Well, everything I guess, but it's only €70 here in Europe, and in my review I'm very happy with its gaming performance, but not so much with its hi-fi performance. And then you have the Creative GC7. Now this has some better quality components than the K5 Pro, with some rebranded AKM components making it look like it's made by Creative. This should make the hi-fi audio somewhat better. But still, the GC7 also wasn't made with hi-fi audio in mind, but gaming. The second knob is a great USP when using it with Discord. Also, the driver interface adds a lot of features. But paying €150 is a bit steep, but the functionalities do add value. I ran all 4 devices through Rightmark Audio Analyzer to see how they perform on paper. And here's when things get interesting. Let's start with the Burson. Now, as expected, it measures really well. A flat frequency response, very low noise at minus 85.7 decibels and a dynamic range in the same number. Now, that's the kind of performance you'd hope for when spending close to 400 to 800 euros. Clean, precise and refined. And now the K5 Pro. Now, that's a different story. The noise level is minus 71.2 decibels. And the dynamic range is about the same. Now, that's decent for casual listening or gaming, but it clearly is a step behind the others. The frequency response is also a bit off. The middles are boosted and the highs roll off early. It's like a bell shape. Now, if you're into detail or critical listening, you'll notice this. But this is what gamers want. No explosions, no high sounds, just footsteps. And the GC7 actually performs worse than the K5 in some areas. Noise level drops to minus 61.7 decibels and the dynamic range follows. It's clearly not made for audiophile use. Distortion is noticeably higher as well. So while it has more features and a better user interface, pure sound quality isn't its strength. And then there's the K7. It matched or beat the Burson in almost every measurable category. Noise level, minus 86.9 decibels. Dynamic range, 87 decibels. Stereo separation, a fantastic minus 77.7 decibels. Better than anything else I tested. Distortion, basically non-existent, especially in gaming mode, where it drops even further. I was honestly not expecting this. This is a 200 euros digital to analog converter amplifier that technically outperforms the 480 plus Burson Playmate 3 in almost every metric that matters. Of course, numbers don't tell the whole story, but it makes it very strong for the K7 as something much more than a budget option. So, lab results are one thing, but how do they actually sound? Well, the Burson Playmate still reigns supreme for critical listening. It's smooth, it's detailed and effortless. It's like listening to your favorite album on a quiet Sunday afternoon with a glass of wine. You hear micro details, layering, and a kind of natural ease that just makes you stop and listen more and more. And here's the surprise. The Fosi K7 isn't that far behind. Especially in the standard mode, it delivers clean, neutral sound with great separation, tight low end, and just the right amount of sparkle. It doesn't quite have the warmth or the depth of the Burson in mid-range, but it gets surprisingly close. For most people, the K7 will offer 90% of the experience at 25% of the cost. And now for my conclusion. Did Fosi live up to its name? Absolutely. The K7 is the gaming DAC I asked for, and somehow Fosi actually listened. It combines clean hi-fi audio with thoughtful gaming features, premium components and a build quality that punches well beyond its price. It may not be perfect, the Bluetooth LDAC is still missing and the mic mode limits resolutions, but at under 200 euros it's a unique hybrid that neither Creative nor Burson currently offers. So if you're looking for a single device that balances voice chat, high quality music playback and console compatibility, the Fosi K7 is the standout choice. They said they wanted foresight, openness, sincerity and innovation. Well, mission accomplished. And that's it for me for today. I'd like to see you in the next one. See you then. Bye bye.